Surely here which Vitalis, the moon has ingressed into Gemini to meet Uranus, ascendant 0° Pisces, and we have Mercury releasing from opposition to Pluto, midheaven ruled by Jupiter. It's 11 degrees, so I don't do, it's explosive degree, I don't do a talisman with this one. This is Mercury hour, so it's not pinpointing Jupiter or Venus. And so for this topic, I'm going to open the Sibley chart because it's pertaining to everybody, because America is pertaining to the world, okay? Whether it's through MK Ultra, to intelligence, through okay, the things that ties in with the Rothschild family, the Vatican, and so on. So I'm going to open the Sibley chart because this issue is very American, and it's continuing on the Archangel Michael. So I see that, yes, we're going to upload a video together again. Thanks, this young lady. I'm going to read you my comment to her because this is what is this about. So basically, I was asked about Archangel Michael. So they asked someone who is in belief that they are God and everything. There is a practice in occult magic where a person is, whether it's the headless rite or whatnot, that they are experiencing themselves as everything. Okay, it's a spiritual experience. Some people can use that to try to, let's say if they are, for example, if I would be both myself and my air condition, then I would use that to activate my air condition. Okay, so it's the dual existence of the I am and the all that is, that allows for, okay, for that. But the problem is sovereignty. And they ask about Archangel Michael. So they ask about invoking Archangel Michael. So there is a mix between who is trespassing. And slavery and trafficking cannot coexist with the concept of trespassing. So before I'm going to open the Sibley chart, we're going to upload the previous video. And as you can see, this is a very American situation. But it was invoked on Israeli or Palestinian land. So, and everybody Nazi. And so, so yeah. Ooh. Okay. And so again, now this is pertaining to many people practice chaos magic, and chaos magic is not good or bad. It's basically they would go into the Christian doctrine, they would go into the Sufi doctrine, into Judaic doctrines or indigenous doctrines, and they would completely adapt the systems of beliefs pertaining the rituals that they do. And some people even use causing chaos. And again, intention here is very important, because chaos can be a situation when people have like awakening or even working with Uranus. Okay, Uranus is non-linear, and so when people work with those things, then the authenticity around the emotions, I guess, has to be there, or the clearing of those things, yes, has to be there. But mostly when during spiritual warfare, people are almost forced to do some magic, even prayer. Okay, the deliverance prayer is a form of magic. It's esoteric. Okay, it's praying to the god to get a certain reaction. Okay, it's already activating something that is of esoteric quality. Um, So, okay, and this is also how you get people that are doing hoodoo to get people to call on Jesus. Like it's that, it's people practice that. It doesn't have to make sense if they do that. This is the data. This is okay. What I what's happening, and so let's take a look at the sibley chart, because this question pertains to something that is at the very core of the American foundation. And it is the notion that the concept of trespassing, okay? Many things, for example, I was recording a video the other day, and I was recording while walking, and I thought I entered a place that is going to another street, and I entered the property. And then there was a lady sitting there, and I was like, oh my God, I entered your property, and went out, and she didn't shoot me to death. It would probably not be legal for her to shoot me to death. And if it would be, it's because she has... And so this is because it's Israel, I don't know which law it is, Palestinian land, and a lot of the law is a combination of British, Turkish, and some sort of biblical stuff. And the law in United States is very different. If I did that in United States, I could end up dead, just because the person doesn't know who I am, what are my intentions. It's their land. I'm not supposed to step on their land. It's supposed to be my responsibility to make sure it's not somebody's land, which can be very intricate of what seems to be off grid, and I could end up being shot to death. Okay, and that would be legal. That would be perfectly legal. However, trespassing cannot coexist with slavery. This is also why, okay, if you think about John Locke, tabula rasa, the ones that abolished slavery winning the Civil War, and you see, a lot of the reasons that all these rules are done is to get away with crime. And then, but what these rules are used for is to create a certain order between criminals that essentially is creating order for we the people that is relaxed enough for us to have our rights. This is how human rights are birthed to the world. Okay? It's like a couple of mafiosi had to fight between them, and they didn't want to kill each other all the time, so they tried to have some disputes managed, and with the rules that they made, and they said a free man, okay, but women are also divine, okay, and entitled to have rights and liberties and dignities. Black people are also people. Okay, it's not that they don't know that. It's is that they try to create the liberties for a secluded group of people, so they don't have to accommodate for entire humanity. And eventually, they do have to accommodate for entire humanity. So this is exactly what happens also on a ritual level. And so this can get a person very confused, and the ritual practices can also get a person very confused. And this is why they want. Some people would use trespassing, okay, at the time. And I'm thinking about, and I know that yes, when Peter R. de Vries was #1 true crime in the Netherlands and also outside, was looking into case of a murder of a prostitute, and she was a foreigner prostitute, and he went all the way to Australia to arrest the cop, or to not arrest, to confront the cop that was involved with something there that was criminal, and so he is arrested for trespassing, and then he says the world is upside down. So if you would see Peter's chart, he would have a sun in the 5th house, the lower hemisphere, and the moon in the 10th house, and is a night chart, and that is pretty much the delineation of that. Yes, all the controversies around his character or person or coverage aside. But that was exactly how he showed to the cameras. And some people say, well, I'm not getting into that, but what the bottom line is that he showed how trespassing is used actually against human rights and human dignities and not in favor. So again, this goes back to the people, like you're gonna invoke Archangel Michael because somebody trespassed and so on, then be prepared to deal with Archangel. Okay. Okay, then be prepared to deal with, it's kind of like you call on justice, okay, but be prepared to look into what is, okay, what is the topic at hand. And so this pertains pretty much to the Sibley chart. Let's see if we have transits right now. What is kapat? I don't know what is kapat. With transits, thank you. Um, yeah, we have a Jupiter return. We had a Jupiter return for the Sibley chart. Look at this Mercury Procyon. Okay, that this is what contributed to abolishing of slavery most of all, because this is where Americans have forced to deal with their own dumbfuckery. So like we said, a free man, well, a woman is also free. It's like you can go and try to say, yeah, a woman, they're not free, they're not, then you're gonna have to prove for that they're not rational. It's like, yeah, but you want us to put you to a situation where you're not rational either. And so they had to give women the rights. They have to give black people the rights, and so on. Because this Procyon calls to, it's about being favored, but it's also about looking into correcting one's wrongs. Okay, just just in that sense. Um, yes, Mercury over the Rahu Leo. Mercury going over Rahu, about to conjunct Rahu for the Sibley chart. Sun in Leo. Mars was crossing the midheaven when it ingressed to Libra. Saturn, Neptune at the 5th house. So much like Israel is having a Pluto to her 5th house, and everybody talking about it's not only the children of Yemen, then United States and the children is also going to be discussed. Uranus Moon in the 7th house. So this is exactly the chart of the civil war, the trespassing, the right to housing. Okay, people try to do away with the right for people to have dignity housing. Doesn't work. Just common sense. Let's put all religion aside, chaos magic aside, everything aside. Okay, common sense. You put a person in a situation where they don't have housing, they don't have food, they don't have this, they don't have that. What do you think will happen? Common sense, okay? So and and United States, the land of the free, has more targeted individuals than citizens. It means most people, this is why they have such national debt. Most people don't work for a living. Most people are part of people who target people. Even if they have a job, but they have to. So what's happening in the land of the free? And then they try to invoke Archangel Michael. Is what I'm saying. Okay? And and they want to set a boundary. Okay? Because somebody is trespassing. Who is trespassing? Trespassing cannot coexist with the concept of human trafficking. And it's also the antidote because, and I'll tell you a story from what Andrew Tate told during COVID. He had a casino with, of course, sex trafficking. Yes, what people in Israel come to Romania for. Um, and it was COVID. Now the police asked for, he bribed the police to keep it open. This money. Police asked for more money, more money, more money. Eventually they asked for so much money that it's the corruption of the police that closed the place. This is also how decolonization was achieved. Okay. Okay, this is simply for it to not be economic, to colonize, and to not be. Now when people invoke Archangel Michael and invoke, said it's trespassing and this and that, well, what's going to happen with that is that when somebody is put into a Neptunian helpless situation, they begin to, unbeknownst to them, manifest. So we have guests, um, the family cats. So that is, yes, the end of this episode. But yes, Moon Uranus with Sedna in the 7th house of the United States. Um, and anything that tries to support slavery, doesn't matter what doctrine, okay, goes against common sense. And it doesn't matter what the religion, what this, what that, it goes against the common sense. And this is the why and how, okay, people deal with the chaos that they deal with. Again, if they try to cause confusion, to take a hold of land on the account of people that don't have a place to go, one way or another, they're going to have to deal with the consequences. But if it's kind of like a community and then they treat their own women in certain, in the similar fashion, okay, the solitary man, the solitary woman, then they're going to meet all the places where they have to set boundaries. And that's the issue at hand. Okay? So the message was somebody was causing so much chaos and they thought somebody else will have to fix it. And then it's what's happening is kind of like their chaos is being brought back to them, and spirit says, okay, you make order in this. And when it comes to trespassing, human trafficking and child trafficking cannot exist together with the concept of trespassing. So let's say somebody used their own asset to traffic people. Then it's run away. Yes, they leave their things, they leave their this, they leave their that. The tenant is not trespassing. The person that trafficked was trespassing on the sovereignty and autonomy on all levels of being of the tenant. Do they really want to invoke Archangel Michael? The people, now this is what they don't tell you. the people that did the witch trials, okay? Now, some women were definitely, just like men, doing witchcraft was not good. And some women were just protecting their sovereignty, okay? The people that did the witch trials, they ended up on the guillotine. Now, if you call on the cows, whether it's Loki, whether it's Uranus, and so on, and you call on the cows to get to liberate what their energy blocks, okay? What are the energy blocks? To liberate, okay, for raising Kundalini or creating a certain energy flow that is essentially what what is true, what is liberating. Then it might be chaos in your life, but you're gonna say, okay, well, I wanted to break through. I wanted to, okay, for things to change, okay. But if you call on the chaos to try to get away with something, then what's going to happen? If the truth will set you free, then you're called on to say the truth. Because if you put a situation, if your head is on the guillotine and you're afraid of the guillotine, and by that fear you try to go for another person that just living their lives, standing for dignity, standing for human rights, standing for you to have the door open to exit violence, and you try to unalive them or to sacrifice them or to this or to that, they're going to bring you your chaos. And they're not even going to know they're doing that. They're going to like, Archangel Michael, okay, well, Archangel, deliverance, okay, deliverance, candle, okay, for candle, I don't know what to do. that video says that video says that, and then, there's just kind of like, okay, what do I do? Okay, how to protect myself? I just try to do for what is right, and so on, and then chaos is returned to you because you try to get away with. And they say, okay, this person, why does it? Okay, they're doing this stalking in groups because of the MK Ultra. Okay, so we got a director to the MK Ultra. We got a director to what the core of the issue is. Now, if you are higher up the hierarchy, if you're higher up the rank, than you pose yourself to be, it might also be discovered. Okay. Yes, the Americans have a saying for this. They say, "The fuck around and find out." And so now, as for me, I don't know for what the entirety of the chaos is, because I'm not a part of that. And in general, those whole conflicts, okay, this is Saturn Neptune. There's an expiration date for those, okay, for those things, and this is where people try to cause chaos in people's lives. So what happens during chaos? We simplify things. We say, okay, let's say I lived in a certain place, began to be trafficky, I ran away. What my things, not my things, I don't know. Right now, what's important is to keep me. They try to do rituals in this place. I say, okay, cast away. I don't try to rent another place where I haven't solved the problem, because I will just meet that problem in another place. Okay, simple. As long as they do trafficking, they get no for nothing. I let know the bank, all the authorities. I let know for this is not to respect anything coming from them. I escape a human trafficking. Simple. I need to renew, I don't know, but identity card. Okay, I let know. Okay, this is the thing. This is the problem. I don't know who these people are, what they do, what they did, if they do crime of forging identity forgery, and they do witchcraft thingies. Okay, it's simple, very simple. Police, what they work with the police, not work with the police, I don't know, I don't tend to that. So what's happening, each and every person, when they have these cows, we're like, okay, simple, I haven't done anything wrong, those are the people that did a lot of dumb fuckery, I'm not getting into the dumb fuckery, but my things, whatever, but they do rituals, I said, okay, to clear the energy. Simple. Confusion, let them deal with their confusion. They caused that confusion. I did not cause. I came to workplace. I came to rent apartment. Simple. What their confusion is, they'll let them deal with that. And this is exactly what happens when the people try to invoke the things that bring order when they created the chaos to get away with what they would probably not really get away with if there was order. And now, for the people that are not a part of the chaos, they're like, well, I don't know, I'll play some nice music to have to clear the energy. I don't know what to do. Simple. Not my circus, not my monkeys, not my circus. And this is also when people have something is chaotic happening around them. Then what they do? But first of all, ground. I did nothing wrong. They try to. What do they even want? What they try to traffic me? No. Doesn't end up well for anyone. It causes political assassination. It causes their own demise. It's illogical. Me setting a boundary here is actually good for them. That's it. Hello there. So that's something that's very relevant to the sibley chart right now and to the moon Uranus and Sedna. Mm-mm. Hello. Okay? And when it comes to these issues of trying to enslave someone, trying to put someone forcibly into debt, trying to cause chaos or havoc in person's life, trying to make a person crazy so that they can take over the property, all of these dumb fuckeries. No amount of what you did nice covers up for that. Because if everything you did nice was to hold it as a bait so that they will, okay, doesn't work. That's abusive. It means that if they, I don't know, it means that they have to set what is the boundary that people set. And then many people call on Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael. Then Opus Dei is exposed for trafficking. Mormons exposed for trafficking, Jesuits exposed for trafficking, a connection between Mossad, MK Ultra, CIA, Epstein, and so on. Now, I know nothing about that. It's just you read, you cannot, it's all over the news everywhere. Vatican, okay? It's all over the news everywhere. Well, the only thing I can do is talk about the fact that from the testimonies of ritual abuse, there are people that say, but they are also, they had to abuse other people and so on. And the web of mind control and the personality cult, which means that a person's trying to, they're trying to be who they need to be in a situation, and they're basically like a person having a couple of personalities. Okay, so those things are relevant to jurisdiction. They are relevant to, if people want the names. No, they have to also understand what's behind that. The technology around frequency can tend to that. So this is what my what I can do to say yes, I set the boundary. And I also understand that there is a certain system of operation that's doing those things, and that's what we are dealing with. Okay. But what is not is to try to is for these people to say, oh, but they put it on them, put it on them. No, no, full stop. No, doesn't work anymore. That's the expiration date. Because if everybody tries to get people to comply with corruption, people en masse stop complying with corruption. Now, it's good for everyone. When this is also the we the people that united against, you know, the King George, at the time of Planet George ingress to Gemini. Okay, then those people, they found a way to unite, even though they were in a cult of treason. And they had to deal with that. They had to give rights to black people. They had to give rights to women. They had to accommodate. To the best that they done that, then they had the rights over the land. When they didn't do that, they suffer. And it's not about blue pill, red pill. A part of the MK Ultra committee was Joe Biden. And Obama was also quoted saying that they're going to create an army of civil soldiers. That basically that's the targeted individuals. Okay. And for Trump to deal with that, he would have to deal with the same things that JFK had to deal with, and he knows that. Okay, he knows that. Um, he is in the business of real estate. So it's, you know, it's a big giant mess where eventually you have to accommodate for the people. But otherwise you have to deal with the image of not accommodating for the people. Which means the Hobbesian world where when the social contract was not actually accommodating for the people, then it's going back to the Hobbesian state of short life that is full of, you know, suffering, peril, degradation, and so on and so forth. But it was not the Hobbesian social contract that solved that, but more like the Lockean. The understanding that movement and freedom are important, yes, but without understanding that it's the MK Ultra that brings people to be mind control, which John Locke gives us, that the nature of people is tabula rasa, even when they're cloned. John Locke was also a clone. And he got that because he very likely was exposed to reality with and without ritual abuse. So this 22 Neptune is spiritual unaliving of people. Hidden, mysterious unaliving of people by the intelligence. Mercury on Procyon means that there is hope for justice when it comes to MK Ultra issues. Actually, JFK came from the deep state, came from the seven, the skulls and bones. He was unalived, but he was unalived after resolving the Cold War. That's life, you know. And so there is hope. There is hope for doing the right thing. And it's actually coming from within the deep state. And that's when I look at this chart, this is what I see. So forever, when they try to enslave humanity, it's not going to be successful. And this is also part of what this chart is. So it's a very fascinating chart. That is the dual nature of Neptune. It's kind of like, hey, United States is dealing with those problems, but to be victorious is not with the ways of the old, not with the slavery, not with trafficking. Although fortunately, United States #1 surveillance globally. That's also Neptune in the 11th. But it only works when the indigenous parts are doing the same rituals. Okay, that's the thing to say about Americans. Not a simple chart. Not a simple chart. Not for the Americans, not for the world. What's important here is with human trafficking, with child trafficking, with slavery notions, with trying to enslave humanity, all of those things, they yield losses, grief, and yes, and America is not better or worse than other countries. It's just encompassing certain things here that pertain to the individual rights. And this is exactly the Saturn Neptune here in the 5th house, with Mars basically triggering Mars in the 7th, even before Uranus has completely perfected its civil war time, its civil war clock. So there's conflict over United States regarding children, regarding entertainment industry, borders with allies. That is also part of what the NATO alliance. Okay, this is a Mars-Uranus conjunction. There's a Mars-Uranus conjunction between the Sibley chart and NATO. This is so fascinating. Um, yes. So yeah, I will end here and drink coffee or something.